Welcome back to MacBreak Studio. I'm Mark and I'm with Steve. We're in San Rafael, California. We're doing MacBreak Studio and we're talking about a really cool workflow that's enabled by the Final Cut Pro 10.4 update that will allow you to be much more productive in the field.
Mobile in the field.
Mobile in the field. Get editing immediately.
That's right. I love my iPad Pro and I really like editing with this Apple Pencil.
Yep.
In fact, I'm always looking for a reason not to bring my MacBook Pro. So I shoot a lot of drone stuff with my GoPros and I just import right into my iPad Pro and I edit in iMovie and create rough cuts.
You pack light. You've got your drone, you've got your iPad Pro, and you're editing in the field.
That's right, and it's fantastic.
Nice.
It's really great. So let's talk about workflow and how I get my stuff over to Final Cut. It's a quite simple process, but you may not know how it works. So here I am on my iPad Pro, and here's the video I've been working on.
And by the way, you're in iMovie, iOS iMovie.
iOS iMovie.
Okay.
So I'll just play a little bit of this here. So I'm an underwater propulsion vehicle.
You.
That's me, and I'm being pulled through the kelp forests of California. Get this nice little title here, and that's about a 500-pound fish that we're looking at there. Pretty big. So I'm going to tap Edit, and now I'm in the edit mode of iMovie, and you can see I've done a string out of all the best clips from my GoPro camera.
Okay, with a bunch of crossfade.
Yeah, that's the default. They just throw iMovie throws some crossfades in there, but notice I've added a title, and the titles are actually pretty elegant, I think, in iMovie for what they are, and there it is.
Nice.
And if I wanted to keep editing in the field, I can just go up here to the top, tap Video, and just go down. One thing I love about iMovie and photos in general is everything's organized now. So like everything relative to my GoPro stuff just appears.
It's right there.
It's right there, and I can make selections and add them to my time. I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to show you that all my media is just right there.
And it's if you've been using Final Cut, iMovie on the iPad Pro is very familiar and easy to use.
Yeah, it's really and I got to tell you, editing with this pencil, it's just huge. Nice. It's so much fun. It's just great. So let's just say, for instance, I finished this. I'm not interested in color grading. I just want to get the rough pieces together. Right. So I'm finishing on my MacBook Pro.
Okay.
So what I want to do is tap Done up here at the top, and at the bottom you have the familiar Share button that looks very similar to Final Cut, and I'm just going to tap that with my pencil, and I want to tap iTunes. Now, when I tap iTunes, I have two choices, a video file or the project. I always want to choose project if I want it editable.
Okay, because then the project will include the media.
Right, just like Final Cut, it'll make a library and put it all inside.
Because you don't want just an export of what you cut. You want the actual project to work on.
Exactly. So pretty straightforward, iMovie project. And as it's exporting, let me talk a little bit about this. I have my iPad Pro connected to my MacBook via the Lightning cable. Mm-hmm. That's all you need. Now, I could have sent this project to the cloud.
But if
it's a 10 gigabyte file, you're going to be waiting a long time.
Right.
It's much better to use your Lightning cable and use iTunes.
And send it right to your Mac.
Send it right to your Mac. So looks like it's done here. I'm going to tap OK. And I'm now back on my Macintosh here. And I'm going to switch over to iTunes. And you'll notice here, under iMovie, under File Share, so under File Sharing iMovie.
File Sharing.
Sharing iMovie. Mm-hmm. And then you can see here's a bunch of different versions that I've been working on right here, right?
Right.
And they're all ready to be essentially copied to my hard drive. Now, the one I just shared is 1.4 gigabytes. I'm going to do one of the smaller ones just for time's sake. So I'm just going to drag that project file right over to the desktop. And notice there's a progress bar at the top.
Right. And I wouldn't have known that. You just drag out of the iTunes interface and drag it to any location, any drive you want.
Any drive you want.
Move it, get it out of iTunes.
Yeah.
And now the new feature in Final Cut Pro 10.4 will allow you to open that directly into Final Cut.
That's the beauty of this whole workflow, directly in Final Cut. In fact, let's just do that right now. We'll jump over to Final Cut. And I already have a library set up called In Search of Black Sea Bass.
Okay.
Okay, File. Here it is. Import iMovie iOS projects.
Beautiful.
This is great. And then go to the desktop. There is the project file I just copied from iTunes. I click Import. It takes a few seconds. Boom, voila, there we are. So I have all my clips that started out on my iPad, now accessed within Final Cut Pro with the audio, with any titles, whatever I've done. Now
titles, transitions, effects, anything you've done in iMovie on iOS will come through in Final Cut. That's great. It's seamless, absolutely
seamless. It's great for people who don't want to take their laptop with them. They can now do a lot of this on their iPad. I am transitioning. I want to do more and more stuff on my iPad and less stuff on my MacBook.
Well, I love it. You can be sitting on a plane coming back from a location. It's kind of hard with your Mac flipped open and the person in front of you leans their thing back and crunches your screen. But on the iPad Pro, you can sit there and do a string out and get a bunch of work done. You know, just right there on the plane.
It's really fantastic.
Nice, fantastic. Hope you guys found that useful. I certainly did. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time here on MacBreak Studio.